transformations and journeys with the isogenics business and kind of what's worked for them, and super exciting. So I wanted to get started so we can have an opportunity to hear from everyone. And I thought maybe we'd start out with Renee Madore. And Renee has actually been my friend for, oh my gosh, over 20 years. And she came over from Nerium, another network marketing company, and she's just getting going. And she has a different kind of insight because she's been with another company. And I thought we could start with her and kind of explain what she's experienced so far. So Renee, you want to share your joy with us?
Sure thing. Annie, I love your little mini-me. I thought she's so cute. Anyway, yes, like Kimberly said, I came from a previous company called, well, now it's called Neora. They rebranded. And I actually rose really quick in that company. I earned the car and I followed all the steps, and it was a great business, but I had a hard time sharing skincare because I wasn't so passionate about skincare. But I stayed with the company for 7 years, but I kind of hit a plateau for quite a while and just lost passion and interest in the whole company itself. And Kimberly, I was trying to get Kimberly involved actually in Nerium a long time ago, but she was so tired at the time and she was really sick and she wasn't on the isogenics products. So the thought of her, doing another company, she was like, I just can't. So make a long story short, she said, well, why don't you just try some of my products? So I did, and I lost 60 pounds with the products, but I didn't want to share them with anybody because I was still doing the Nerium company. So I was like, okay, this is not right here. So I had lost all the weight and I thought, you know what, I'm more aligned with these products. So I jumped on with isogenics, left my other company. And it was hard for me because one of my best friends that I signed up under, it was hard to tell him that I, was moving on, but it was fine. It all worked out. And what I learned in the other company, which our CEO was a huge proponent of, is you always do not want to be your own expert. When you're approaching a prospect, because they are looking at you the minute you join the business, they're looking at how you're doing it. And if you know everything, and if you want them eventually to do the business, they won't, because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't know all that information. So I'm always diligent about getting Kimberly on the phone with a three-way call, because I can never be my own expert. So I said, you know what, great information, but you know what, my friend Kimberly was so instrumental in my weight loss. Let her tell you her story and she'll answer any questions. So then that way she'll sell them on the product. They'll join the business. Well, not the business. They'll join, with the weight loss products. But eventually down the road, they might want to do the business because they will think, wow, it's easy. I can just get an expert on the phone like Renee, and then sell the customer. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been instrumental. I mean, I get Kimberly on three-way calls all the time, and I do a lot of sponsored ads. I get a lot of success with my before and after photo. I just did it today with the 11-day shred, and I get a lot of response, and I do the stories all the time. So it's been great. So I'm going to keep going and be consistent, because there's no plan B in the fall. I have no choice.
Poor Renee. Renee is a substitute teacher. So, you can imagine that's really stressful. And I just love
massage.
it because we're so lucky, because it's food, right, Renee? And everybody needs to eat. We're not only do we have the best compensation plan, but our product isn't like kind of a want, like skincare. When the times get tough, people are going to forego some of those things, but they always have to eat, right? They always have to eat, and you got to spend the money anyway. And if you're getting a full meal for $3, there is more job security in what we're doing. And so it's easier for you. It's an easier sell, right, Renee?
Yes, much easier. And, and like I said, when the pandemic started, I had 3 part-time jobs and I lost all 3 of them. So I was kind of in panic mode, and I'm like, Kimberly, I'm jumping on board, and I've been running ever since.
I'm so glad you did, honey. It's so
Yes.
fun building with you, and it's just so awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing. So
You're welcome.
appreciate you and appreciate you sharing. And how about Annie? You're next. Share, share, share. We can't wait to hear what nuggets you may have or what your journey's been like. And
Well, Renee, thank you for sharing. It's kind of nice to be able to hear
You're welcome.
people's stories. Yeah, so with me, lately I feel like everybody goes into like seasons, and I feel like sometimes we kind of take the foot off the pedal, and then life happens, and then we go straight in and we go full force, and then life happens. And what I've realized over, these 7 years is that life will always happen, and we should touch on our businesses every single day, no matter what. And if there's one thing I could tell you, that consistency is number one. It doesn't matter, every single day. Consistency and putting yourself in the front burner every single day to fill your cup is huge, or you will burn out. You can have a passion for everything, but if you are not in alignment, you're gonna burn out. And so another nugget I'd say is get really clear on your why, and make sure that you have notes everywhere, even on your cell phone, reminders, anything you possibly can to remind you of your why, so that on those times where you're feeling a little down or a little lazy, or maybe you want to take your foot off the pedal, you remember that you need to show up for your why. And for those people that talk to you and tell you their pains, you just have to be there for them. You can't turn that off. And so I think that's one of my biggest shifts in the past couple of weeks. And, people are watching you regardless, whether they like or comment. They love to see your stories. People love to see what you're doing, but they're not always telling you they're watching, but they're watching. And I would say the biggest thing is to put your blinders on and just know that you're serving every single day, showing up whether you're ready or not. And once you're serving, you kind of get lost in that, in the service of helping somebody. It's the stories of the people that say, hey, I actually have more energy today and I can walk 3 miles, where before they were always on the couch. So I think doing it for those reasons and showing up regardless is huge. So, it is a personal development thing, which I love. We all get better. And I know a lot of people say sometimes it gets easier, but really, truly, I think it just gets better. We get better because we're showing up. And one other thing is, yesterday we were on a team call with Brent, and he said that he just goes for no. The more no's you get, the more successful you'll be. And the reason why is because you'll have more conversations. And eventually they'll come back. I've had a girl, in our product group, and talked to her many times, had some 3-ways with Stephanie, and like 2 years later, she decides to jump on. So constantly filling your funnel, that's huge. And I'm learning the power of that now. And, no prejudging anyone. I have a friend, Rocky, you guys may know him. He ended up ordering isogenics for his health when he was homeless. So that day changed my life, because, I always think, oh, can they afford it? Well, I don't know. I'm just all crazy in my own head. But when I got on the phone with Rocky, and he's had 90+ surgeries, and he's homeless, and he tells me, I need this for my body. I need to alkaline my body to live. And that's where he allocated his money, because that's what mattered most. was his health. And we don't cure, treat, or prevent in any way, shape, or form, but our bodies are miracles, and they work miraculously when you feed it and fuel it with the goods. So if you take anything away, I would say stay consistent and never prejudge anybody based off of Rocky.
Oh, Annie, that's, yeah. Oh, it's true. You know what? Even though we're doing this as a business, we are helping people. We are truly helping people. And the food makes them sick. So much of what's out there and what's in our food, and we're able to isolate it and give them such good nutrition. And what a great story. Like, I bet I mean, it's just like, oh, love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing, Annie. That was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, I could get more, three-way calls, all that. Of course, utilize us. We're here. There's always somebody willing. Three-way Zooms, video messenger, meet people where they're at, and just be that person. And, we've been doing lots of videos with Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. I mean, she jumped on a Sunday when she's with her family, to be able to help, Vicky's father-in-law because he needed it. So thank you.
Oh, way to go, Steph. That's awesome. Oh,
We all do that. That's what this is.
one team. So awesome. Well, and I know that, Kelly, would you like to share maybe some tidbits?
Sure. Yeah, I have a separate full-time job and never expected to promote Isogenics, but about 3 years ago, after people started asking questions about what my husband and I were doing differently, I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I got excited about not only helping people, but sharing and making some money doing it, and building a business. So it wasn't until this past week, though, that I actually broke through manager and made director. And sometimes it's just timing. It is certainly everything that everyone else has just said, though. Consistency, not prejudging people, not being afraid to take the no's, knowing that a no is often a maybe later. But definitely something I would add to all of that is getting on the team calls. If you really want to build a business with Isogenics, get on team calls. Go to the conferences when you can. The one coming up July 17th and 18th is free. I would normally be on a plane, flying there, paying for the conference, the stay, whatever else was involved, because it's become that important to me to go to every conference. You just learn so much. You get to pull away from family and work and focus on your business for those few days when you go to conference. And it's really invaluable. We say they're non-negotiable. But if you can't make conferences, I mean, if you really, really can't make those non-negotiable conferences, and if you're having trouble getting on team calls, they're often taped. Go find the recordings. I follow some great Isogenics leaders who do regular YouTube videos, and I subscribe to their channels, and I listen to theirs even outside of our team. And there's just a wealth of information, so much really free coaching. And I'm finding that network marketing, after 30 years in the legal career, I'm finding that the network marketing field is an incredible place of personal growth. It's not just how do I build my business or how do I sell a product. It's really not the focus. It's really about learning to connect with people. And you have to really get inside yourself and learn some things about yourself before you are ready to help make a difference in other people's lives. And so that's been just kind of mind-blowing for me. And I've loved all of the great leadership in that area.
Oh, beautiful. Great tidbits. Following leaders in YouTube. It's so true, though. The more people you learn from, the better. And I always tell people too, like, you'll hear a nugget that works for somebody and it just works for you. And you'll hear everybody does the business differently, and you find you do you, you take all the information and you do you, right? Thank you so much for sharing, Kelly. That was awesome. And let's see, Jackie, would you like to share?
I'm driving, but I'll try.
Okay. Sorry.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, hello.
You know what? I learned so much from all of you, and I'm so appreciative for all the support and guidance and consistency that you've shown me along the way. You know, I'm still pretty new, haven't hit my 1 year yet, but you know, what really worked out for me in the beginning were the sip-in samples. They were huge for me, and we had a lot of fun doing them, and it really helped me because I had Sarah there along the way to be my expert, right? So I didn't know what I was doing. So she really, really, really helped me, and I'm grateful for her. And since then, you know, I jump on as many team calls as I can. I try to get, you know, I think I heard Paul Kruger say recently, like, become an expert in your field, right? So I just try to gain as much knowledge, and you know, I do the work it calls, which helps me to stay consistent, you know, and I just follow what everybody else is doing. Once I sign a customer up, then I use the coaching text replacements, and it helps me to keep the retention. You know, so I still have a lot to learn, but that's what's working for me so far, you know, and mindset is everything. Annie touched a lot on that, and it's huge for me. So I do a lot of, you know, journaling and reading, and a lot of personal development outside of Isogenics, just so that I can keep my head right, you know, because if I get in my own head and I start to say to myself that I can't do it, I'm not good enough, then, you know, I notice, like, I go into this funk and I'm not doing the things I need to do. So it's important for me to do my daily activities of reading, journaling, praying, you know, to get my day started off right, you know, and then just the normal work it calls, and my reach outs and my follow-ups and my team calls. So that's what it looks like for me so far.
Wow, well, that's awesome, Jackie, for sharing. You know what, as I hear everybody share their story, it's fun because you can hear their journey as you've been growing, and I always learn something new from each and every person, and that's what's so cool. It doesn't matter how long you've been on the journey, you've got nuggets to share, you know, things that worked for you or happened to you that is right where somebody else is, and helping them with that point in their journey. So thank you so much, Jackie. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but it's so great to hear from all of you guys. Does anyone else want to share? Diana or Sarah?
Can Sarah please? Because Sarah's a sponsoring queen.
Okay, come on, sponsor queen. Can you unmute?
Sorry, I'm trying to get on, and then, you know, you have those telemarketers trying to call from Benson, Arizona to scam me out of something. I was like trying to click yes, and then some random number popped up. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I missed the prompt, but I wanted to share something before I address the prompt that I've just really been taken by, because for any of us who have been on this journey for any length of time and been consistent with it, what I see happening that's really cool is the transformations, not the physical ones, but the mental, emotional ones in everyone. And I know Stephanie's talked at length about this, like with our friend Kathleen, just how we've seen like Kathleen come into herself and be like a bright and shining light. And I see that happening with Jackie, and Jackie and I talked about that just a few days ago. Like when she just talked now about not getting in her head, there was a time that Jackie was much more in her head, but for those of us, her included, you know, that stay plugged in, we're able to shake that off and we develop this new normal, and it's a lot more resilient than it was, or at least gives us credit for the resiliency that we maybe didn't recognize in ourselves before. So there's the therapist in me talking. But what's the prompt? Sorry.
Well, just whatever you want to share, you know, about your journey building. And you know, because of your background, you have a little bit a different share that you can help us with. So whatever you think. I mean, what was it like? How long have you been with Isagenix now, Sarah?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, the 13th of last month was 6 years. I think what I've seen is from the beginning, I've only wanted to grow organically, but we all know that if we just grow organically, then it doesn't happen as fast as we would like it to. And we can be okay with that, you know? But I think what's happened is you only grow as organically as this becomes natural speak, and you only get that through intentional practice. So I have personally sponsored around 170 people, I think. And Jackie and I were talking about like percentages in the business, like how many people are now on the team. And the majority of that has been brought in by myself. And my biggest struggle and thing that I've tried to work on is being duplicatable. And I know that that's something that we have talked at length on these calls about. So I think what's really cool is how what you learn becomes internalized and becomes your own speech. And then it stops feeling forced and starts feeling organic. And I'll just throw this example out too. So my background's, I'm a mental health counselor. I'm a very heart-centered person. I'm not as motivated by money as I am by other people's positive changes. That's just where my heart's always been. And what I noticed thinking all the way back to grad school when they were teaching us, you know, attending behaviors is like trying to coerce or help a client to explore more by asking, tell me more about that, which never felt like my language, right? Like how many sessions have I had to say, tell me more about that to encourage someone before it started sounding like Sarah and stopped sounding like something I read in my textbook. So just know that that comes with practice and it's okay.
Beautifully said. And so true, right? Yeah, you know, I think that that we all come up with our own presentation, you know, and it changes depending on the person that we're talking to. And it is a journey feeling comfortable to reach out to people. And a lot of people start out where they feel comfortable one-on-one, and then in group settings. I, for one, have never been comfortable in big group settings. Hey, Zane. Are you there? Oh, now he's muted. You know what?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
I was going to grab you and catch you while you were on and see if you wanted to share your story.
Oh, thank you. Sure. I need to actually swallow my joint support. I just put them in my mouth. So
sorry.
Just a moment. I just texted them to my client actually just now because he has some soreness. And then I thought, oh, I need to take mine as well. So. So let me swallow that, and then I'll be able to tell my story really fast.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Okay, thank you.
What I was saying was that you develop, like I've had to speak in front of people, lots of people in my past, and when you stop doing, when you stop getting that exercise, you get rusty, just like your body. When you stop working out, you know how you have to get your mojo on again and do the workout. And so it does help practice talking to people if you're not comfortable, whether you're one-on-one or just even with your little team. Even if you're part of a team and somebody's always doing the talking, it helps to kind of form a little group with your own team that you're building and practicing presenting to them, and it helps to get people out of their shell and grow in that way with speaking and feeling comfortable sharing and all that. But
Yes.
Jane, now you're a fitness, I don't know your background. You must be a personal trainer from Chia
Yes.
Quest Fitness. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah. It's, we pronounce it Kai Quest Fitness, but others, it can also mean Chi, but source of energy, source of life, the creator, Kai Quest. And so it's, we really love to promote health and wellness through personal training and fitness and exercise and nutrition, which then again helps to support a person's overall health, body, mind, soul, spirit. So I've always been passionate about health and fitness ever since I was very young, ever since I can remember, actually. And so I've also worked with at the school as a coach and teacher. And then I started my own family, and I was looking for something where I can be able to really focus on the health and fitness side and help others achieve their fitness results as well. And so I was looking for a way to be able to be at my best, though, with my busy schedule, with my kids, young children, and just starting a family. And I was struggling with that because I really didn't see how I could cut back on calories a whole lot and reduce body fat and gain muscle and have energy all at the same time. So I consulted with trainers, and I found Sarah Boykin, and who's introduced me to Isogenics. Are we still connected?
Oh yeah, you're still here.
Oh, great. Okay. So then Sarah introduced me to Isogenics, and over the course of a few months where I didn't jump right in. I just had some canisters laying around the house that was brought in through my wife, who hadn't started yet either. And so I just started taking them because I thought, well, I've tried just about everything else to have energy and reduce calories and reduce body fat and gain muscle all at the same time. Nothing else seemed to work as well. I love the gym. I love working out, but I still wasn't seeing the results I wanted. So I was about to start a fitness business. So I knew I had to get in shape somehow. I really had to look the part even better, right? Really have the cut, the six pack, the whole thing, you know? And so I started with the isogenic shakes, and then I noticed it's very interesting that with the same amount of work in the gym, I was getting more muscle and I was having more energy. My body fat started to decrease, and I thought, what is in these shakes? How is this happening? You know? And so I began to look into it more. And then Sarah said, well, there's also, you can get a lot of results with what's called the IsoBody Challenge. And that involved the cleanse. And that's kind of scared me because I didn't really know at that time. It was like a cleanse was kind of weird to me, you know? So then I thought, well, I said I was going to do the IsoBody Challenge. So I'm going to do the cleanse. So I finally did the cleanse. And after 2 cleanses, the first time was really hard. I had headaches and everything else. But the second time, I really started seeing even more results the second cleanse day I did. And I was so blown away by the results after my cleanse, because along with the shakes and everything, I'd followed the system, the schedule, the cleanse day schedule, shake day schedule. And I saw great results. Then my 6-pack started to come back. and I just felt like I felt lighter and more energy. And I thought, wow, this really does work. It was after I did the cleanse, though, that I saw the most results. And because I didn't realize how much I needed to detox. And that's when the engine, so to speak, ran the best, when I got rid of the old oil, not just put in new oil with old, but get rid of the old oil, so to speak, and then put the new oil. That's when I really started to see the most results with my workouts, and the most muscle, the most fat loss, the most energy. I was waking up before my alarm clock went off, things like that. And ever since I've been completely sold, and I've loved my shakes. I love every day taking them, and it's been such a huge blessing to me and my clients. Now I'm sharing them with my clients and my trainers on my team, and I have 2 trainers that are really excited, and also sharing them with their clients. So it's been a huge blessing, because it really noticeably maximizes my clients' results with their workouts about two times as much. I mean, they get twice as much results at least when they're doing isogenics than if they're not. So
Wow.
that's the story. Yes.
That is huge. And
It is.
you know, right? How long have you been a personal trainer, Zane?
So now close to 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So you trained people before isogenics and after, and you actually saw they get double the results at the gym. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have them on the amp line too? Do they do the amp line too? Or you just, I hear you're a value pack. You value packs like crazy.
Yeah. So yes, mostly, most of the clients, I serve a specific niche of clients that, because we're mobile, we go to the client's home or office. Most of the clients that end up purchasing our service are clients that want us to come to them because they are so busy, they don't want to take the time to travel to a gym. So they want to save time however they can, maximize results, get it done. And most of the time they're busy executives who are able to have the means to afford that convenience. And so they're usually the busy executives who are almost always, their goal is to reduce body fat, increase muscle, increase energy. Sound familiar? That was me. So I tell them my story, and it connects with them and our mission, which is to inspire a transformation of lifestyle fitness wherever you are. And then that it usually strikes a chord with a lot of them, because that's exactly where they are, where I was. And I did feel stuck. I felt like I was 30 pounds heavier, and I didn't know how I was going to get to look the part, even though I really, I felt embarrassed too, because I was an athlete growing up and I was a coach. And then when long story short, I was a teacher and coach, and then I went into working at the school that my family had started, the preschool system, neighborhood Christian schools. And so I worked my way up and became the COO there. And that's when I started to develop the body fat, because I was working around the clock at the school. And even though I was working out, it was a pretty stressful situation, and high stress, little sleep and whatnot. But even with all that stress and little sleep, isogenics still worked. And it worked through all that, and nothing else would do it for me. So I shared that story with busy executives who are in the same situation. They have companies to run. They can't possibly, have a lot of time to devote to meal prepping and reducing calories and things like that. I mean, they have to have something very practical, grab and go, convenient, on the go solutions for both fitness and nutrition. That's exactly what KaiQuest Fitness offers, especially because we have the isogenics for the nutrition part. And so that's why we're able to meet the needs of the busy execs or busy professionals, moms, dads too, but that's mainly who we serve. And so it just fits so well with our clients. We're really thankful.
So Shane, Zane,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. There's a lot of people that want to go and approach fitness trainers and gyms and what have you. What is the best approach? Like for me, I'm not a workout fiend. I am working out, but I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself an athlete or even in that realm. And so it's kind of intimidating when you're going to speak to a gym or a fitness trainer. Can you give anybody any tips on a way that it makes sense to approach somebody such as yourself with the business?
Sure. There are things you can do at home in very little time to develop a lifestyle approach to fitness that do not take a whole lot of time. And for yourself, what you can do is minimum do exercises. If I can show you really fast, you mind?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. But you know what I was asking was for the business. Let's say I wanted to grow my business and I wanted to contact personal trainers and gyms and people such as yourself and introduce them to the Isagenix products, you know, on a, but I'm totally into the, give us all your training tips. I'll do them, I promise, but how can they approach that with the business? You know what I'm saying? When maybe they're not into fitness, but they want to share Isagenix to have you offer it in your business and to your clients.
They're not into fitness. I would say that a lot of times the important part, I'm in my backyard now with the kids. The important part is that they understand that they need to have the energy in order to work out. I had a client one time who said, you know, I'm not working out because I don't have the energy, and I need the energy first, and then I feel like I can work out. That was Denise. Now she's on my team. So I said, well, I have the solution for you. It's called Isagenix, and so that will help you get you the energy, plus begin to lose the body fat and have the protein to actually sustain and help this lean skeletal muscle mass and energy at the same time. Are you interested? Of course. So she signed up right then and there. And then we did a training together. So she had the energy and she started on her own going out and exercising, walking around the track and stuff like that. So I would say just promote the optimal health, and that then will help them have the energy to work out.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome and so true, right? And let me try and rephrase this. If I'm wanting to call a gym and talk to them about carrying Isagenix, and they don't currently carry Isagenix. How would you approach it if you were going to do a sales call for the business to a gym or talk to another personal trainer about the
I see. Yeah.
Is there anything besides your story that you would do additional or different?
Sure. I would try to know who your audience is. If they're a trainer, then you can say that this is a system that will help you and your clients maximize the results with their workouts. And so maximize results with workouts. That's a line I often use. And
do you mention like that they can make additional revenue, or does it help with your client retention? Do you find that you're retaining more clients?
Oh, yes. It helps with client retention because if they're seeing results faster, they'll stick with you longer. And also, even if it helps with renewals, because if they're seeing results, then they'll more likely renew their sessions or their packs with you. So that's what I've found. Those clients, and also the clients, not only helps with client retention, but it helps with client attendance, because those clients that are not on isogenics, even though I've promoted it, some of them still resist. They get sick more often. They show up to their sessions less because they're less consistent. They see less results. They get injured easier, or have whatever reason why they can't. Not injured during the sessions, I should say that. They get injured for whatever reason. You know, I hear of things. Well, I'm kind of, or they have less recovery. Their recovery time is not as good. So, and anyway, it just makes a huge difference. So that's what I would talk to a trainer about, is that attendance is better, results is better, and they're able to support recovery after their workouts better. So, and that's why it really helps. Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, we need to get you doing a video so that we can use it to send to gym owners and personal trainers on what it's done for your business. That would be awesome to have in our arsenal, Zane.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could stay on the call longer, but I actually have to get to a training.
Yeah, no
I'm sorry,
worries.
a consultation.
Thank you so much. No,
Yeah.
lots of gold nuggets, and you were awesome. Thank you so much, Zane.
Thank you. And what did you say your name was again? I'm sorry.
Mine?
Yes.
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Thanks, Kimberly. This is,
nice.
I'll try to be on the call more often. I love this. This is great. Thanks, Kimberly.
It's great to connect with people for sure. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Zane.
Thank you. Take care. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, that was awesome. What tips,
Bye,
guys,
Jackie.
to contact gyms and personal trainers?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed being on the call. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Zane.
Thank you.
So that was awesome. Awesome tidbits. And, you know, I don't know if Diane or somebody would like to share. Maybe you have something, some little tidbits. Diane, you have a unique background in healthcare. So maybe we transition to kind of hearing how you're growing your business, and maybe you can give us an angle on talking to someone in the healthcare industry.
Oh gosh, healthcare workers are the worst. Yeah, because we know everything about everything and we've tried it all. And what I will say is that I've been watching everybody in this group and on our work it calls in the mornings, continuing to show up and doing the work. And I am not going to lie, I tried to do that whole like comparison and stealing your joy thing. And I know for a fact that if I continue to work as hard as I have been, and working on the things that I'm not as good as so that I get better at them, I'm going to benefit in the long run. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. I'm doing tons and tons of personal development. And I don't have like that same weight loss story that everybody else does. I've actually gained quite a little bit of weight, but here's what I'm going to say about that. My glass is half full, and the comeback is always bigger than the setback. And it's coming, it's a work in progress. So there you go. Lots of personal development. I'm kind of taking after Annie, being consistent. I have my cute little notebook that I have all of my affirmations, and I put fun little stickers in it because it makes me feel good. It also, when I'm having a bad day, and there are a lot of them for all of us, I'm sure, something else that helps me and motivates me to get moving and get going and doing the things that I know I need to do is to pour into others and encourage others and know that somebody out there is always having it worse off than I do. I know I take my work bag is an Isogenics backpack. It's pretty much in everybody's business all the time. I leave it on the desk. I have a cup. I make my shakes. I do my cleanses, and everybody's super supportive, but they all kind of have their own things. It's hard to to weave your way into that healthcare system, kind of like families. Like families are hard sometimes, and they don't always know what they don't know. But what I know for certain, and while Isagenix does not claim to treat, prevent, or cure any kind of disease, I have a horrible immune system. It is not supposed, it's not at this point, because of all my health problems, designed to fight anything off. Yet here I am, an emergency room nurse with that crappy immune system and COVID, and I've had so many significant exposures, and I'm not sick. I'm healthy. And so do we all know? We all know, right? How that happens. We all know. And so I've kind of switched my story a little bit from, oh my gosh, I'm the girl that had cancer, and the girl that has Addison's, to I am this person that has chronic health conditions and I'm thriving. I'm working full time when they told me I shouldn't. They told me that I should be on disability, and I'm not. I refuse to accept that sentence that they were trying to hand down. I'm not, that's not my story. That's not my end game. It's going to be one of progress and staying healthy in spite of all of the bad stuff that's out there. So I'm working on it, trying to be consistent with all of the social media stuff. Follow-up is a place where I struggle. So if, like, being consistent with that. So I'm always open for suggestions and coaching as far as that goes.
Oh, well, you know what? That was so authentic and honest, Diana. And you know what? I don't think anyone right now, it's hard with all the stress and the cortisol levels. I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, most of the people that I've been talking to have gained weight during this time. So, and especially your job, good Lord. But don't you find, let me ask you this, one of the things that I realized when I started on the products, stress doesn't affect me like it used to. Like it doesn't make me physically sick anymore like it used to,
I have to say, while everybody else is worried about like burning out their adrenal system, mine's pretty much toast. So I'm kind of lucky in that way, I have to say, because better living through chemistry, if you will. Like if I have to find a bright spot in that whole, this is a crappy disease to have, honestly, I push a button and I get more cortisol when I need it. Wow. And not everybody can say that they have that luxury. It does have its side effects, but I also don't have to worry about burning out my adrenal glands.
Yes. Do you take the Ionics then?
Oh, ask Stephanie. Stephanie, do I take Ionics?
You love Ionics.
I have become the queen of all of the things anti-inflammatory, because my inflammatory markers were so high in December that I had to know that had to play a part in how my arm ended up getting infected. And so I decided to do a little experiment. That my markers were off the charts, but I wasn't showing signs of an infection per se because of the immune system stuff. So I do Repair twice a day, mixed with Ionics twice a day. I do 2 e-shots that I mix with Ionics. So I'm doing 4 servings a day. And I don't deviate from that at all. Sometimes I will take a swig out of the bottle, like Stephanie suggested, if you're having a sugar craving, because the steroids do make that happen a little bit. But my inflammatory markers on my last set of labs within the normal limits.
Wow. That's so awesome.
And I know that my body pain and my joint pain and everything, it stays down at a more reasonable level when I'm doing all of those things.
Supporting the body. I'm autoimmune too, and you know what? It's made a massive difference. I swear, I call it my keeping myself alive.
My blood pressure is better. My thyroid levels are back to normal. They still have me on meds, but I'm going to kind of push the issue to try to come off of them if I can in the next few months. I go back in September, so we'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see how that works. I'm going to just forward speak it, and it's in my affirmations every single day.
Awesome.
that I'm continuing to have no evidence of any cancer, no, and my labs are going to be normal. And so Annie, thank you for that, because that, I watch you doing that every single day, and it really motivates me and pushes me to be consistent with that first thing in the morning before anything else happens. And what you think about, you bring about. I told Kathleen, I had a couple of financial setbacks. My car cost me $600. It was like money flying out the window. And I started trying to manifest that coming back in my window, and it sure did. It sure did. I had some things happen, and I'm going to be able to pay off some bills and get caught up. And I sent her a private message and said, thank you so much for allowing us to learn from you, because it works. It works. It works. It works.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much, Diana, for sharing. That was just awesome. It's so neat to hear everybody's little input and stories. And you know what? That's what it's all about, is community and connecting. And a lot of times we have lots of meetings and we're learning skills, but we're not really connecting and bonding. And this was really cool to get to hear your, how you make it challenges, because that's what it's about, getting through some of the challenges in today. And hey, Vicki, can I call on you to kind of close this up? And I'd love to hear your story.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, I'm still new with the whole business thing, so I'm learning from everyone on how to, I guess, to go out of my shell and I guess hear the no's and do all that. So I'm writing a lot of notes from you guys, so thank you for that. And then, yeah, a little bit of my story. I have an autoimmune disease, CIDP. And so 3 years ago, I was paralyzed in the hospital for 2 months. And then I still get treatments every 5 weeks of IVIG, but I'm working on trying to figure a way if this will help to get me off of them. But yeah, it's just how energy and everything else. And I'm getting to work out now, so that's always great.
Wow, that's so awesome, Vicki. Do you, I'm just curious, do you practice the AIP diet? Autoimmune protocol?
No, I do not.
I'm going to send something to Annie, and maybe she can send it over to you. I talk to a lot of autoimmune people. In fact, almost, I would say 80% of the people I talk to have autoimmune, and I put them on the system. I take them off of gluten, and some I'll take off of dairy, depending on what they say. And then I give them this very special inflammation reducing diet, because even some fruits and vegetables, believe it or not, can be higher on the inflammatory. And it helps them when you get in a storm, if you have autoimmune, it could be something small and it just triggers your body and you have a flare up and it's debilitating, kind of like what Diana was saying was happening to her. And it could be something in the environment. I mean, but this diet is really, it's done some amazing things for people with respect to getting their inflammation under control, not just the isogenics, of course, but what else they're eating. And I've seen some amazing things happen with that.
That would be great.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool. Mom and daughter. I didn't know you were Annie's mom.
Awesome. No, I'm Annie's sister. My daughter Jazzy is with Annie right now.
Oh, okay, Annie, you're confusing me. She's like, that's my mom.
Jazzy likes to type in the chat.
Oh.
She's like, that's my mom.
So now Annie, you have your whole family in isogenics.
And to think I still have so much more family, but Vicki's working on that.
Oh, that's so awesome. What a blessing for the whole family. Both my mom, both my sisters. I've got all mine on Isagenix too, and they love it, and it's just so fun, you know. That's so cool though. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing. We are run out of time, and it's been just a joy to hear all your stories and everything, each and every one of you. Thank you with the bottom of my heart for sharing. And you know, it's that we have a lot to learn from each other, and not just in terms of you know, where you are with the business, but if you're just getting started in the business, I'll just leave you with this. Don't get it's easy to get to allow the no's to affect you, and you just keep going and keep having grit, and it will happen for you. And it just naturally, you know, as you learn more, as you gain more confidence by doing, and that's key. It's a learn as you go. You don't have to be an expert in anything. Pull your enroller in on your calls, let them be your expert. And that's one of the best ways, I think, to learn, by listening and taking notes. And you just start to develop more of a confidence as you know the product, because it's easy to talk about something that you know. It's a little more harder to talk about something that you don't know. And like I personally have always struggled. I can go in, I'm a search engine optimization expert, and I could go in and talk about algorithms and SEO and all the facts. But when you put me in an environment where I have to connect on an emotional level, I'm so trained in regular business, and you don't do that. You really don't do that. You connect with your staff and your customers, but it's all kind of on a superficial level. So it's everybody that comes in, no matter what walk of life you are, you have to learn to transition into really getting into somebody and sharing personally and just being heartfelt. And it takes a little practice, you know, especially if you're so wherever you're at in your journey, just know you just keep going and keep doing it, and you'll get better and you'll feel better doing it. And take care. God bless. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And thank you so much for everyone sharing. And I hope you all enroll 10 value packs tomorrow. I'm speaking it. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Dog needs some ionics. Look at her.
Thank you.
The crankiest.
Have a good one.
So cute.
She does. It's because she wants to go for a ride. Every night we get in the car and we drive for a little bit. And look at her. She knows. Look, you want to go for a ride?